What's up, YouTube? Cam that guy here. I'm back once again with another YouTube video, man. So in this YouTube video, I'm gonna be describing. It's gonna be a story time, right? It's gonna be a story time. But in this YouTube video, I'm gonna be talking about my junior and senior year of high school, right? These are one of my more interesting, more unique, more uh interesting times at high school because this is when I went from a private school to a public school, right? So I want to describe my junior and senior year, right? This is going to be kind of like my first time really doing like a story, you know what I'm saying, on when I was at a public school, kind of just describing how it was there, you know what I'm saying? This is going to be an interesting story for me to tell, you know what I'm saying? So I hope y'all are ready for it. Alright, so I'm about to go ahead and begin. So, um, I was at private school at first, right? The reason why I left this private school was simply because I was getting bullied, right? I was tired of verbal and physical bullying. And it came to a point where, you know what I'm saying, I was like, okay, I'm going to put my foot down. I'm not going to go to school until I go to the school I want. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to continue to go to a private school or just private schools in general. I don't have a good, it's not good for me to be in a private school. Like, I did better at a public school as far as like my mental health wise. I was better off at a public school versus a private school where it was bullying and, favoritism and, what I'm saying, all that shit in between. While I was at public school, the only problem, the only issue was just my grades. Whereas a private school, I'm dealing with a whole bunch of different shit that's giving me mental health issues, right? And for the record, let me go and state this while the video is still early. This cream right here is for my cold sores, just for everybody out there that's wondering. But anyway, back to the topic at hand though. I was just, what I'm saying, I was overall just tired, what I'm saying, of I was overall, just tired. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a ball spot right there. That's a ball spot right there for everybody that's wondering. But anyway, I was overall just tired, you know what I'm saying, of the bullying. So I decided, you know what, I'm not gonna go to this school or no other private school. I'm going to a public school. I'm not gonna go to school until it happens. I went on strike. I said, I'm not going to school until I go to the school I want. So eventually it ended up happening. You know what I'm saying? I ended up going to a post school. I went up there, you know what I'm saying? I got the papers. I filled out all my information. I filled out all the papers on my own. I filled out all that information on my own and shit. Which me and my male guardian, right? Me and my male guardian. I had to get my male guardian to co-sign because female guardian didn't want me to go to public school, right? So I had to get my male guardian to, co-sign with me and shit. Because female guardian wasn't going to sign me up. She wanted me to keep going to that private school and keep getting bullied and shit. She just so fixated on. I don't even know. She wanted me to stay there for what reason? I don't even know. I didn't even get taught at that school anyway. They didn't even teach at that school anyway. They stopped teaching at that school. You know what I'm saying? It's like that school was damn near like a daycare. You just go up there and get watched for a couple hours and come back home type shit. That's what it was like. You know what I'm saying? I stopped getting taught at that school. Like it was time for me to move on to a different environment, a new environment, a new everything, right? So eventually, you know what I'm saying, what ended up happening was I signed all the paperwork at the post and stuff, and I went up there, I turned it in, you know, it's all that other shit, you know what I'm saying. So everything was good from here, like I got everything in check. Everything was good, everything was set. You know what I'm saying? I was ready to debut my first day at a public school, right? So, um, first day there, I mentioned this in my closet video. I had on a long sleeve button up shirt with some jeans and shoes, right? Apparently, you know what I'm saying, when I wore this outfit, niggas kind of admired me, you know what I'm saying, wherever went, they kind of admired. Just generally, when I was at a public school, niggas low key admired me, and I had no idea up until recently, because I noticed, you know what I'm saying, niggas will try to mimic you, copy you, or whatever the case may be. That's if somebody does that, that means they have a form of admiration towards you, right? You know what I mean? So, uh, that's what ended up happening to me, and I had no idea, right? But I ended up wearing that shit, you know what I'm saying? So let me describe to you how the first day went. The first day I was there, right? They helped me get to the office, right? And then one of the front desk people asked me, "Do you know anybody here?" You know what I'm saying? "Do you know anybody at a post school that can help you get to a class or two?" I said, the only person I know is this girl that I used to go to a prep at the old school. She ended up coming to this school, right? That was the only girl I knew at that school, right? I figured, you know what? I'm gonna roll the dice with her and see what reaction I get, and see how she gonna act towards me and shit. Cause when me and the girl, we was cool and shit. She was a cool girl, but I'm not sure if she changed or anything. So it was kind of risky for me to ask her to guide me to my classroom, but I did anyway, right? So when they ended up calling her to the office, she was all like, what I'm saying, kind of like just, what I'm saying, kind of normal. Like she wasn't doing the most as I thought she would. I thought she was either going to be like big joker because she was a jokey type of girl, like to always joke around, crack jokes. I thought she was either going to do that. I thought she was going to be dramatic and put up like, "Why are you here?" Blah 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 blah. But no, she was actually just normal. We was chatting a little bit, all that other shit. She showed me around a little bit, and then she walked me to my class and shit. And then after that, I never really spoke to her again. After that, I never spoke to her ass again. You know what I'm saying? It was like after that, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I got to my art class, and then I had to get help from go to each class. Like I had to ask a coach because they'll have coaches around and make sure people go in their classroom and shit, or guards or whatever the case may be, to make sure people ain't always wandering the halls. Make sure people in their class, or just to keep monitor, to keep watch of the hallways in general. You know what I'm saying? They always have coaches or guards around, right? So, you know what I'm saying? I always end up asking one of them. They end up walking me to my class. I'm gonna be honest, man. It took me a good 2 months to memorize like where my classes were. Like, it took a little while. It took about a month or two. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't easy for me. You know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of normal time, but towards like my senior year, I knew that whole school backwards and forwards. Like I could tell you where any classroom was, just simply because like when you continuously walk around the school and go through certain shortcuts and areas, you know where certain rooms are at. Like in the morning time, I'll always walk around with this crew. Sometimes during lunchtime, I just walk around by myself or with other people, or that during after school shit. When you continually lap around the school and shit, you memorize and know where certain, classes and shit are. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, so as far as the process of my classes and shit like that, right? Let me go ahead and describe to you my classes, right? So 11th grade year, junior year, first period, I had art. Second period, I had Spanish. Third period, I had language strategies. No. Let me rewind. I'm wrong. First period I had art. Second period I had social studies. Third period I had language strategies. Fourth period I had Spanish. Fifth period I had math. Sixth period I had English. Okay, that was my junior year scheduling, right? Now, as far as my classes, here's how it went inside my classes. So first period was it was a nice class because I had somebody I was sitting next to, right? He was a good person to talk to and shit. It was fun. Like art is an overall fun activity. I enjoyed the art class, right? Second period was social studies. I did not talk to nobody in this class. Really little to nobody. But social studies is relatively easy because it's like I don't know. When it's something I want to learn about, I'm engaged to it, right? So I'm engaged in learning about the past. I like to learn about past shit. So that's what I ended up learning about was past, right? And I feel the need to mention is I did not have science my 11th grade year. No science my 11th grade year. I got took it out. You know what I'm saying? I did not have science my 11th grade year. But anyway, third period was language strategies, right? So, um, that was like an elective. So what that was basically was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? This is going to help me with classes I need help with as far as like classes that are with homework or just with tests and shit. Language strategy was like a helper class to help me in certain situations, and say it was a class that generally helped with language and shit like that. All right. Fourth period was Spanish. You know what I'm saying? The Spanish one I was taking was really really easy. Right, that was easy as fuck. The Spanish two I took the following year was actually way difficult versus Spanish one. Spanish one was really simple, right? Mainly because it just more the type of the teacher that we had type shit. It was like it just depends on who's teaching it. But either way, I did well in Spanish, right? So fifth period, what was fifth period? Okay, fifth period was math. Okay, now the math I had liberal arts one, right? Now it was relatively hard. It was relatively hard. Math is not my best subject, but I got better at math came my second period just because my second year, my senior year, just because I had a better, different teacher, right? So it all really just depends on who is teaching the subject, right? If you have the right teacher to teach the subject, the student will generally do better. That's just, common sense, right? So I ended up getting a better teacher and I learned math better versus the previous year. That's pretty much all it was to it, right? And the sixth period I had English, right? Had a horrible fucking teacher that failed me, right? Had no confidence in me. But but you know what I'm saying? Nah, it was part of my reason why I failed. I was too distracted on trying to be noticed and shit like that. I was doing a lot English three, but some of it kind of just on the line goes. We keep reading novels and books. Like I'm not interested in reading this shit. This is not English to me. Like literally, what we did all year was read a book and write a report about it. Like, bro, this is not English. Let's learn some real English. Like I'm not interested in reading books that are not entertaining. You know what I'm saying? It's like these fucking fiction books, like they are not entertaining to me. Like, bro, if I'm gonna read a novel, it gotta be nonfiction. I ain't gonna lie, it gotta be something real. I don't like reading some fake bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's just not entertaining to me. But anyway, yeah. So that was pretty much all my classes the 11th grade year. I don't want to make this video too long because I gotta speed up to senior year. But what else I'm gonna talk about is I want to talk about my relationships 11th grade year, right? So 11th grade year, it was kind of like on the lines of I never had friends throughout the school year in general. You know what I'm saying? I had no friends, right? But it was sort of lines of okay, I had like a morning people I'll be around, lunch, and shit like that, right? So in the morning I was around these people on the bus, right? It was these people I was riding the bus with. You know what I'm saying? I would be around them people because once we get off the bus, what I'm saying, we together type shit. So it makes sense for me to be around them people, right? So I was around the people on the bus during the morning time, right? It was a few people, right? Um, During lunchtime, what I'm saying, I was either out playing basketball, what I'm saying, or what I was doing was I was either walking around, or I was either with this group, so I was with this group of people, right? I would either hang with them, or sometimes I would go off campus with this guy. You know what I'm saying? It was this guy I was with during the morning. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes I'll be with a class below me. And sometimes I'll be with this class below me. I will be around them. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like I had like a kind of a multitude of situations of where I could be at during lunchtime. You know what I'm saying? I kind of had like a multitude of scenarios of where I could be during lunch, right? I mean, and that's how it was at lunch. So, but relatively, you know what I'm saying, during my classes, back to the classes, as far as my classes, I mean, I was talkative in some classes, I was talkative, not talkative in other classes, right? So, uh, I got off track. So I said art class, I was talkative, social studies, I was not. Language strategies, I was talkative. Spanish, I was talkative. Math, I was not talkative. English, I was talkative. You know what I'm saying? So let me go ahead and say that, what I'm saying, before I get ready to get off this 11th grade topic and go to 12th grade. But all in all, so my 11th grade year was more just sort of process of me just finding my footing, me trying to fit in. You know what I'm saying? All that other shit. It was really 11th grade year was definitely a blur. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, it felt like it kind of went by fast, but it didn't. You know what I mean? So it was just like, yeah, but it was definitely a learning experience. I had to end up taking virtual school online because I failed English. You know what I'm saying? So I had to take virtual school during the summer. I had to do that online. I had to take English 3 virtual school during the summer. And it wasn't bad. It actually gave me something to do during the summertime. So it was like, it was entertainment low key. So it was all right. Now, you know what I'm saying, time to get into 12th grade year. Now, 12th grade year, this is definitely one that's like, well, kind of like a wake up call for me because I was put in a position where I almost didn't graduate. You know what I'm saying? This is where reality started to kick in. It was like, I really got to have good grades. I really got to tighten up. And I ain't tying up until like the end of the school year, right? But let me describe to you 11th grade year. So 11th grade year, I'm gonna describe my classes. So 11th grade year, first period was social studies. Second period was Spanish. Third period was science. Uh, fourth period was math. Fifth period was language strategies. Sixth period was English. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So that was what it was senior year, right? So let me describe to you those classes. First period social studies. I ain't really talk to nobody in that classroom. The teacher was cool though. You know what I'm saying? The teacher he was nice. You know what I mean? Second period, who I had? What I had second period? Spanish. Okay, second period was Spanish. I didn't really talk to nobody in that class. In that class, I stayed to myself. Third period was science. Okay, now third period was a cool class. There was people for me to talk to in that class, but most times I would skip that class and be in the gym. That was like my skip class. It was like it was a class with a bunch of people in the lower grade than me, so I couldn't really relate to them. But they was still cool to talk to. But for the most part, I would skip that class. Uh, Fourth period was math. You know what I'm saying? Math was a good class. That was a cool class. You know, I had a good time in that class. There was people for me to talk to in that class. And, you know what I'm saying, I got taught well. You know what I'm saying? I got taught math well. You know what I'm saying? That was the best I ever was at math. Was my senior year. That was the best I ever was at math, right? Um, Fifth period, what I had fifth period? Language strategies, right? Language strategies class. Yeah, those people for me to talk to in that class. It was cool, right? And the sixth period, I had English, right? Yeah. It was people. It was cool for me in that class. Cool for people to be talk to in that class, and I ended up, getting it done or whatever, right? So those are the class description, right? Now let me describe to you how it was for me in my senior year. So my senior year, you know what I'm saying, when I was there and shit, it started off good, but it ended bad. So in other words, it started off good. Like I had a multitude of people to talk to. I was around this group, or I could be around this other guy, all this other shit, right? But things just started falling apart. Things started falling apart just simply because I got kicked out of one group. I got kicked out of this group, right? Everything just started falling apart type shit. People I used to be cool with 11th grade year, I'm no longer cool with 12th grade year. You know what I'm saying? But I did end up making new connections. I ended up connecting with this new person, you know what I'm saying? And then this other new guy. But I didn't make a lot of new relationships, you know what I'm saying? Most of the relationships I had 12th grade year, I built the 11th grade year. I only built like new, I only networked like two new relationships, you know what I'm saying? All the rest of it was past shit, and all that past shit got, you know what I'm saying, fucked up, right? Um, then, you know what I'm saying, what happened after that, you know what I'm saying, was sort of the lines of I ended up, doing bad in one of my science classes, right? So since I did bad in one of my science classes, I had to end up doing virtual school for that class, right? So then I had to be fixated on doing virtual school during lunch. Like I would rather do virtual school while I'm at school than versus doing virtual school at home. So during lunchtime, instead of me hanging around people and shit, I was doing virtual school. So I had to do that instead of being around people having a good time and shit. But even if so, I still was around. I still was around people every now and then doing this, that, and the third and shit. And by the way, for the record, I went off campus way more in my 11th grade year versus my 12th grade. My 12th grade year, I think I probably went off campus like one or two times, like by car or some shit. Like my 11th grade year, I went off campus way more, right? But anyway, yeah. So that was kind of the situation, right? So all my relationships started to fall apart and shit like that. Um, and then I obviously failed a class and shit like that. I knew my way around the school backwards and forwards and shit like that. But here's something that I would say though. You know what I'm saying? My 12th grade year, women noticed me more. So this is something I feel the need to say. I feel like girls noticed me a lot more 12th grade year versus 11th grade year, right? This is where I started to put myself out there towards girls a little bit more, but I still was to myself. I still was shy and shit like that. I wasn't like completely outgoing as fuck. But I did approach a lot much more girls. I tried with girls, and it did not work. It failed, right? But it was just an overall good experience to get my feet wet and approaching girls, realm and try to know how to talk to them and shit like that, right? But you know what I'm saying? It was sort of the lines of, but what I didn't notice is that I knows a lot much more about boys and girls. I was overall just noticed more by people and shit like that, right? So it was a good, sad scenario. It's something I didn't notice and shit. Just by the way I dress and shit. Some people would just look at me or some shit just by how I look and shit. Just based on my status and shit like that, Like at this time, I didn't know I was hacked and shit. You know what I'm saying? So all that shit plays a role and shit like that. You know what I mean? All that shit plays a role. And also, I want to go ahead and get ready to say this, right? I remember when I wore that MK wallet, man. This is one of my most memorable days at the school because it was one of my more like it was kind of like one of my more worst days there when I wore that MK wallet because I was getting made fun of really bad that day. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of people don't realize. Like, I took a lot of damage wearing that girl wallet, but it made me unique and made me stand out. Like, I was different. You know what I'm saying? When I wore that shit. You know what I mean? It was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It was nice, you know what I'm saying? Because I had a lot of people looking at me this day, just down the third. It was cold as shit that day too. But it was nice as fuck for me to have like to be, kind of like one of them trendsetters, you know what I'm saying, to make this shit popular and shit like that. It was nice for me to do and shit. But man, I was getting made fun of like a motherfucker that day. This is one of my more memorable days of high school is when I wore that MK wallet, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm being real with you. That was one of my more memorable days there. But and like I said, senior year was definitely on my learning curve because, like I said, towards the end of the year, that's when I actually tightened up. That's when I actually realized, okay, I'm more capable than what I thought. That's when I started doing better in English. I started doing better in math. I started doing better in other classes I had. You know what I'm saying? Science or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I realized, I'm more capable than what I think. You know what I'm saying? When shit is on the line, I'm more capable than what I think, right? But at the same time, it's sort of on the lines of I know, just generally speaking, like school is not for me. You know what I'm saying? School is not for me. School is not for everybody, right? Why school isn't for me? Just simply because like shit is just too hard. Shit was too hard, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I was capable of barely getting by, but this shit is too hard. There's a lot of distractions that come with it, you know what I'm saying? Me being around people and shit, me being a famous body. I'm not meant to be in school because I'm popular as fuck. You know what I'm saying? I have haters and jealous people, I have enemies out there and shit. And just simply because this shit is hard, you know what I'm saying? Like school is not for every single person, and it's not for a person, a nigga like me. School is not for me, right? You know what I mean? But it was good while it lasted, you know what I'm saying? And there's been a time I tried to re-sign back up to school, right? I tried to go to TCC, right? So I went there to take the PERT, right? You know what I'm saying? The PERT gave me what type of classes I should take and shit. I only enrolled with one class, right? when I tried to take this one class online, I had no idea how to even get to it. I have no idea to even get it started, right? Yeah, I tried to go up to the school. They didn't want to tell me how to get it started. They didn't know how to get it started themselves. All that other shit. So I had to get a refund. You know what I'm saying, on a class that I got paid for and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It was a complete waste of time. It was like niggas know school ain't for me and shit. Like school is just not for everybody. It's not for me. It can be for other people. I'm not saying school is not a good thing. Education is real important, you know what I'm saying? It can help you get a job, get money and shit like that. But it's just not for me. Like I'm more of like trade school route, more in the lines of I'm more into like paint or hardware and shit like that. That's something I got taught at the Home Depot and shit. I'm more into that field. I'm not into like that college savvy shit. I'm not the smartest guy. I'm just being real with you. I am not that smart. You know what I'm saying? So I just be being honest, right? And I gotta get ready to go and wrap up this video because this video is getting a little long. But all in all, me graduating my senior year was nice. You know what I'm saying? Let me talk about my graduation process. Then I'm gonna be the end of this video. So I ended up graduating, right? Nobody clapped to my graduation, which made me feel sad. But I should have expected nobody was gonna clap, right? But it was nice to graduate. It was a good feeling. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad I got my diploma. I barely got my diploma, but I managed to get it. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, all was good. You know what I'm saying? The rest is history. You know what I mean? I'm glad I graduated. It was a good moment for me. Um, it was a good accomplishment for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I barely did it. You know what I mean? Just simply because it was hard for me. School was hard for me, and just because my mind wasn't 100% focused on the academic work. You know, so I was kind of focused on doing other shit in school and shit. So, yeah, that's pretty much, what I'm saying, my high school experience, what I'm saying. I threw a little bit of college in there for y'all as well, what I'm saying. So, the title of this video will be my school experience. So, more so my high school experience slash college. Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? So, I hope y'all enjoyed this video and shit. If you did, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? I will catch you on my next YouTube video. Yeah.